I'm a lifelong resident of Grinnell, born and raised here, came back, I'm in my 43rd year of banking, all of it at Grinnell location. When you're in a small town, people always do really work together. Grinnell is a town of about 250, so it was just a continuation of small town life in western Kansas, in all honesty. This was my house. That's where I lived. And like I said, same thing. They covered basement on from that, the subflooring. That's a poured basement, so that's why they were trying to be saved, because they were a poured basement. That used to be about 40-foot tall blue spruce. That's what's left of that. You know, the trees, I guess, is one of the things that makes it kind of depressing. Those are the things that's going to take forever to regrow. May 18th, Sunday, early evening, I was sitting at home, had the tornado warnings in the area. Unfortunately, the tornado hit the town of Grinnell. Mine was one of the houses that was destroyed. Lost home, vehicles, personal property. Fortunately for myself and my wife and all the people in Grinnell, nobody was injured. So that was the number one thing on it from that, but a lot of damage to our community.
That Sunday night when we had heard that the tornado, I'd been watching the weather and heard that there's a tornado by Grinnell. Of course, you know, all of us being farmers in the farm community watch the weather really well. And after I'd heard Grinnell had been hit, I'd tried to reach out to Steve and tried calling him to see, you know, if he was okay. That was my first priority, right? And see how the town was, because I spent 18 years working in this town before I moved over to our Quinter location, and know a lot of the people here really well, a lot of friends, family here. And so anyway, Steve didn't answer, but I had got confirmation that the tornado had hit town on the west side. So I called one of our other employees there in Quinter, see if they wanted to ride along, and we came over and were unable to get into town at that point, didn't know the extent of the damage. So we went around, came in some back roads, stopped by the bank here, made sure it was okay, and then we went straight to Steve's house and found Steve. Steve was okay, which was a blessing. And so we jumped in, started helping Steve, trying to secure items, see what we can find, photos, things like that, stuff of value, importance, right?
Our local elevator over here where these grain bins are, those grain bins received damage. I don't know what went across that to poke those holes. It was big. They dug it's probably 150, maybe 200 yard long, deep trench, probably 75 yards wide, and they've been piling stuff in there, and then they go and smash it, and I think they'll put a little bit of dirt over. They'll just continue to do that. I think FEMA said that it's the last dirt, it needs to be at least 4 foot deep. So eventually, hopefully anything that's left, they'll get it hauled out there and stuff off from that, so it's not a constant reminder.
I got a call the night the tornado hit that Grinnell took a direct hit, and I was asked to come out to Grinnell, since I'm only an hour away, and do whatever I needed to do to either help out the branch, clean up, whatever I could do. So I was more than happy. So I came out early the following morning, which was a Monday, and I came here to the branch and met some of the executives that flew in from Wichita.
We came up with a plan after we left here. I got a hold of Julie Brad, and come up with a plan that we knew we needed to have the bank open on Monday. The bank didn't sustain any damage.
There was no power, and Levi had his work laptop hooked up to a generator, so we could do some semblance of business. It was important, being the only bank in town, that we were open for the people who needed cash and things like that.
I think we had it open by 8:30, not 8 o'clock, but we were open by 8:30, and we did have customers coming in and people needed stuff. So also Monday afternoon we had one of our very good customers out of Hoxie had called and said, hey, if you guys need a generator, his son owns a business in town, and he was able to bring over 2 very large diesel generators that can power everything. A friend of ours that's an electrician that was working in town trying to secure up lines stopped by, and so Tuesday when we opened the doors, we had full power at the bank, and was able, was a lot easier to operate, right?
This was our local cemetery. There was multiple tombstones that was blown over. People came out, power washed all the stones prior to Memorial Day, and got everything repaired as good as possible. There's some damage that couldn't be fixed. This is the wheat field that the equity people helped walk, was part of the volunteers that did this, and you can see the piles of debris that they picked up to make it easier to harvest, and they did an excellent job, but you just can't believe how much is truly out there.
Going back to that Monday morning when I showed up, there were people helping out, a few hundred people, but by early afternoon, I'm going to guess maybe a couple thousand people were just walking around, operating heavy equipment. It was unbelievable, and that's one of the nice things about living in western Kansas, is that people help each other out in events like this. They may not know you, but they don't really care. They're here to help. They will donate tractors and trucks and skid steers and bulldozers, whatever they got. There were people here from south of Hayes, people from Great Bend, came all the way out here to help with the cleanup, and so that was pretty touching to see how everybody came together in such a horrible situation.
Basically, what I can say is since that, the bank's been involved with trying to gather information and being parts of meetings for any possible fundings towards the rebuild, whether that be government programs. The SBA was in town for approximately a month afterwards. The Kansas Innovation Center has been here providing some information, and then there's been donations coming to the community. Equity Bank set up an account where people could mail donations to the city of Grinnell, and that account is still going on at this time. Like I say, as far as taking care of our customers during this time, whether they be part of either directly or indirectly involved because of this, it's been nonstop, and we've been able to meet everybody's needs.
It brought everybody together. Grinnell's a small town, a couple hundred people maybe, and people knew how devastating it was. So it was just amazing to see, and it kind of gives you a perspective of, maybe humanity's not so bad after all, and it was awesome to be a part of that.
I think the big thing is it goes to show you, although Equity Bank's a large bank, the bank as a whole is made up of a whole bunch of little banks, right? Whether it's a Quinter, whether it's a Grinnell, whether it's a St. John, Americus, Kansas, whatever, right? It's a whole bunch of little banks that come together to make a whole, and we are still community focused, and it's about the communities in which we serve, and that's the most important thing, because without those communities, we don't have a bank.